Hey guys, my name is Olisa. Thank you so much for dropping by. Be sure to subscribe for more great content. Today's video, if you can't already tell, is going to be a cooking one. I mentioned in my last video that I just recently got a microwave and I'm trying out so many different recipes and they're super quick, like 1 minute things that you can get done in the microwave that are delicious and somewhat healthy, I like to think. So yeah, we're just gonna jump into it because as you can see, I'm showing you all the basic ingredients that I need for my meal. So this is the shredded chicken that I had meal prepped earlier in the week and just frozen, so I was just defrosting it. And then that was the lasagna that I decided to like pre-boil just so the microwave isn't like working too hard to cook it, you know. So I did just pick up a couple of sauces. One is tomato paste and one is just a little more like mushroom garlicky sauce that I thought would be interesting to like mix in together. So I didn't really want to do too much work on the sauce in this video. So you can see I'm just spreading it down the bottom of my Tupperware bowl. Plastic is an option, but I didn't want like all that fumes evaporating into my food, so I just wanted to be safe and like spoil myself and sort of splurge for this glass one. And it's huge. It was like 790 shillings and I have no regrets. And then as you can see, the lasagna is actually quite ready here. So what I did was pick up individual slices and like lay it down on top of the sauce. I'm following an exact recipe on the internet that's like a minute long and it's like 7-minute lasagna, so that's what I'm doing here. And yeah, I'm just using the lasagna to cover up the sauce. And then I'm taking the shredded chicken, which is already like, I boiled chicken with like spices and soy sauce and all of that goodness, and then shredded it and then froze it. So that's why I defrosted it at the beginning of this clip. But now I'm just taking all my leftover shredded chicken and just spreading it out evenly across the entire bowl of lasagna. Then I'm taking a bit more sauce because I really wanted my layers to be like thick and juicy and delicious. And in the video she mixed her spinach with cheese, and I wasn't going to do that, like get cream cheese and mix it in. So what I wanted to do was just layer everything on really consistently and like build up the layers so that at the end of the day I have a thick delicious lasagna to dig into, you know. So this is me going in with the skooma that I had made from before, and I'm just laying it down directly on top of the chicken instead of having too many layers of lasagna, because at the same time I do want it to be a bit more healthy, so I'm not trying to have the carbs be too much in this meal. And then on top of this I'm laying down my sandwich cheese, which is actually going to come in really handy in this just because it's already the right shape for everything. So I thought it would just go on top of everything really well, and like as I'm cutting into the layers it would still maintain its shape a bit, so it would still be in every single layer, every single bite basically of the lasagna. And then do not make the same mistake that I made, because I left the lasagna in the pan when like it wasn't boiling anymore, so they kind of stuck together. So after the first two, none of them are like perfect pieces of lasagna, but I did just like strip them off, like try to separate them as much as I could so that I could get like single layers and then lay them down across the entire lasagna. It really doesn't make any difference even with presentation, because those inner layers in between the cheese, you're not really gonna see them, but I think it is better off. Like it makes life so much easier if you can just put on like single strips of lasagna versus having to like peel them off and lay them down. So if you're going to pre-boil them like I am, I would suggest like just getting like 8 separate plates and like putting each piece on the plate, or just like really separating them out, because if you don't, they will stick together. Again, I'm just repeating the steps basically, but at this point I have run out of the chicken. The goal of this is to build up more and more layers of the deliciousness in between, so to kind of even that out. Mixed shredded cheese just because I want this to be as cheesy as humanly possible, so I'm using so many different types of cheeses, so many different brands of cheeses, but I do prefer to buy my cheeses pre-shredded just because it's so much easier. And then obviously putting another layer of the spinach on it, because first of all I'm obsessed with spinach, second it's delicious, so why the hell not, you know. Really spreading that out so it hits every single corner of the lasagna. And then I did pick up some shredded mozzarella. Carrefour has these and they measure them out so the weights are actually on the paper. So like this little bag that I'm using, and I had used a little bit before, but it was 140 shillings, so it's not like expensive. And mozzarella cheese is the best because it's the one that like melts and spreads out and becomes like all gooey, so I was really excited to be able to use that as well as the other layer of cheese. And then I just put on another layer of the lasagna and then coated that with a bit more sauce. They apparently use a lot of sauce in this recipe, and then use a bit more of the mixed shredded cheese and then put mozzarella cheese right on top of that. So I did have 2 separate bags of these, and this recipe does take a lot of cheese, but obviously it's up to personal preference, so if you want to edit it down, that is definitely possible, but the more cheese the better, like the more delicious it is. So I I would recommend having a lot of cheese. And then I took the cover of my glass lid. This is why I decided to like really invest in it, because buying a dish for like 750 shillings, that's kind of a lot of money, you know. But this one does come with its cover. The whole point of this is that it's supposed to be super easy, super fast. So I did just set the timer to 7 minutes and like left it to begin cooking. After 7 minutes, I took it out of the microwave, and while it was delicious, because I did pull out a fork and like taste it, I just felt like, oh, look at that though. Like, how beautiful does this look? I literally wanted to use a knife to like cut through it, and then I was like, no, let me just get a fork and like taste a little bit, you know. So this is an up close and personal look, and you do have to be careful just because the glass itself doesn't get heated by the microwave, but it does get heated by the food inside the microwave. So it's very, very hot. That's why I used a cloth. But I did pull out my fork because I wanted to show you guys that this to me doesn't feel 100% ready, just because I like the lasagna that your fork just goes through it, like sort of like a hot knife and butter, you know. So if it can't just scoop out a good bite, then I put it back in the microwave because I feel like it's not as cooked as it could be. And it does have that little knob that you saw at the center, so you can actually vent it without having to leave it slightly open. Like, you don't have to leave the cover not completely closed, but it does have a little hole so it won't make like everything explode in the microwave basically. So I just covered it up again, put it back in the microwave for 2 minutes, and this is what we have. And you can see what I mean here when I say like scooping out easily. It's not like it's falling apart, but it is much easier for your fork to go through, and that's what I wanted. That was my goal with this one, and it looks delicious. It is delicious. As you can see, the mozzarella has melted so beautifully, and I love it. Okay, so this is the lasagna up close. I know I'm doing a voiceover for this video, but I just took a bite, and it is so delicious, and I can actually make lasagna in my home with my microwave. This is why I mentioned in that video that I'm so excited that I finally got one, because the possibilities, the potential is endless, and I don't think you're actually getting to see just how big this dish is. So this is lasagna for like 2-3 days, and I'm really excited. So delicious, delicious, delicious. So now that we're done with dinner, it's time to move on to dessert, and I'm so excited. I just wanted to show you the Betty Crocker cake mix that I had been using for this recipe before, but I realized that I was overpaying for basically the ingredients, which literally don't cost nearly as much, and you get like twice or thrice the amount of cake mix. So it's definitely easier to make it yourself. The first ingredient is all-purpose flour, and you do need 3 cups of this. So I'm just measuring it out and pouring it into my giant mason jar. I thought the sugar molasses mixture was the type of sugar that I needed for this recipe, so I picked that up, and it was a complete hot mess. You'll see that it doesn't show up again in this recipe just because when I opened it, it was like brown sugar, and it was wet, and it was gooey, and I knew that if I put it into my powdered dry concoction, that it would just clump everything up and like mess it up. So I decided to like put a pause on sugar, but the recipe that I'm following says that you need 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 3 cups of sugar, and I found out that I can actually use like normal house sugar for this cake making process, so that's freaking amazing. So 3 cups all-purpose flour, 3 cups of sugar, and then we move on to 1.5 cups of cocoa powder. I really shouldn't have bothered measuring this out because I was like trying to like be reasonably, you know, recipe oriented, but I did end up just pouring the whole tub into the mix. So this is the cocoa that is 370 shillings. I don't know what size that makes it, but the one that costs 370 shillings is enough for 3 cups of all-purpose flour and 3 cups of sugar. So that's my recipe. This is baking soda, because you will need baking soda and baking powder for this recipe. So I did use 1 tablespoon of baking soda, but I did use 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And as you can see here, I'm being a bit sloppy about the recipe just because I don't believe in following them to like 100% of what it is they say. So if a little bit extra goes in, it's fine. And then I've put 1.5 teaspoons of salt as well, and I'm just going to shake this really thoroughly to like mix in the ingredients, which is another reason I didn't want to fill the mason jar to the brim. Also, I got this mason jar at Game when they were 500 shillings. Now it's gone up a bit, it's like 5.95, but it's still worth it because it's gigantic, it's beautiful, it holds everything really well, and does close airtight, so I'm really happy about that. As you can see, I do just add back the rest of the cocoa that was left in the container because it was so negligible, and I was like, more chocolate the better, you know. And then later on, after I'd confirmed that normal sugar actually does work for this recipe, I added in 3 cups of sugar. So this is me experimenting just to be 100, because I'm not a baker. Like, I've never baked in my life before. Even microwave baking, I don't know if it really counts. So what I decided to do was to take 2 spoons of the powdery cake mix that I have made and add 2 spoons of sugar to that, because the powder powder and the sugar are supposed to be in equal proportion, so I thought that if I can experiment with this in my cup and it turned out well and it tasted great, then I would be comfortable putting 3 cups of normal sugar inside the entire mix instead of putting it in first and then messing things up and then like being full of regrets, you know. So that's what I did here, and you can see I'm just mixing them thoroughly because it wasn't shaken in to the concoction, so I'm trying to be as thorough as I possibly can with my little spoon here. And then I came in with oil, and my recipe for the mug cake calls for 1 tablespoon of oil, or 1 equivalent spoon of whatever it is you're using to generally measure the other things, as well as 2 spoons of milk for every 3 spoons of powder. Sometimes I go overboard with the milk, so like even in this case I put a little bit more oil, a little bit more milk, just because I was using a much larger, like I was heaping my spoon of the cake mix concoction, so I did go a little bit excessive with the other ingredients. And as you can see here, it does look like it's gonna be a little bit powdery, but if you mix it in really thoroughly, then it does turn into a gooey, sticky sort of situation. And you can actually see there, I've added a bit of extra milk, and you can actually see all the ingredients mixing in really well together. So you really just have to like sort of work your wrist and really make sure everything is mixed in. Here you can see just how lovely and like buttery and like liquidy this concoction looks. So I put it in the microwave, set it for 2 minutes just to be on the safe side. You can do between 1 and 2 minutes, but with 1 minute, if it's undercooked, then it tends to sort of backfire if you try to like add it like after it's already cooled. So what I would say is you'd rather do 2 minutes and then stop it at like 1.5 minutes if you're not feeling all that confident. But usually I just go for 1 minute and I'm just like, it's fine. Okay, so again, I had to finish off with like chatting about how proud I am of this cake. It's so spongy, oh my goodness. Okay, so you won't see my face in this video, but I thought it only appropriate that we go through the final steps together. So I am just opening up my tub of ice cream that I literally got because I knew I was going to be making more cakes and I wanted it to be like the topping of choice, you know. So it's not going to be the largest chunk of ice cream, but you get the idea, at least like as a little topping for my microwave cake, my mug cake. It's called a mug cake because it's made in a mug. But yeah, even before I put the ice cream topping, I feel like I need to dig into this so you can get a clear view of what it is I'm eating and see for yourself that it actually is fully cooked. I hope the lighting is actually showing you all of the delicious details. I'm gonna stuff this in my mouth, and if you hear a bit of moaning, don't judge me. This is so good. I can't see my face right now, but the cake is still hot, which if you're patient enough, obviously you can eat it like normal cake, but the heat in it makes it so delicious. And having this ice cream topping does add a nice creaminess to the cake, like it does. My mouth is literally, that was a really big bite, so my mouth is actually quite full, and it's also like spongy, so it's like all over my mouth and like keeping it together. So it's actually a very delicious cake. I'm really happy with the result. I'm really relieved that I can actually use normal sugar, because I thought I was buying like baking sugar, and when I saw how brown this was, I'm just like, do I really want to take a chance, because it seems a bit sticky. I don't want it to mess up my flour combination. So this, I am so happy. I'm literally still chewing on that one piece, but this is delicious. This is heaven. I'm gonna up the brightness just a little so you can actually see the cake itself. It's so good, so good, so worth it. Use ice cream instead of icing. I did buy whipped cream, like whipping cream. I threw the packaging away because I used it, and it's nice. It's nice if you want to go the extra mile, but I feel like ice cream will do just fine, because when you put it on top of hot cake, either way it melts, so it does still just taste like a milky concoction. So yeah, this is delicious. This combination is an extra step, but it's not necessary. And you've seen the 3 really heaping spoons of the powder concoction actually did has actually filled this cup completely. So yeah, just do whatever is appropriate for your size of cup. I have used a plastic one because, as you saw, I just removed it directly from the microwave. It didn't like heat up or anything like that, so it's really convenient if you want warm cake. If you want your cake to cool, you can put it in whatever you want that is microwave safe. Also, I have to mention, this is amazing if you like chop it up and put it inside the mixture as you're like mixing it, because it melts inside there and becomes so gooey, and like it tastes liquidy inside the solid cake, and it's just chocolate on chocolate on chocolate. Amazing. Cannot sing its praises enough. It's the best. I should remind you of where we started, because this is actually my dinner for tonight. I'm like trying to do this whole like meal prep thing. So yeah, new week, new me. And I have lasagna to begin with. Okay, let me reduce the brightness. Yes, I have delicious lasagna, and I love this glass thingy, because when I want to warm it up, I just stick it back in the microwave. I don't have to like use more dishes. When I want to store it, I just put it in the fridge or the freezer, and I am obsessed with that. So I have my dinner, I have my dessert. I hope you followed along. I hope you also have your dinner and dessert ready. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe for more amazing just lifestyle content. Basically, you know, that's where we started. It's kind of where we're going back to. And I'm sorry the audio from this is not going to be awesome, because I am recording directly into camera. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thumbs up, subscribe. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Let me know if there are any recipes you want me to try. If there are any more like minute microwave recipes, I'd be happy to give them a shot. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video.